Hi, it's Peter Chapman from SKUFood, and we've got some food and beverage industry trends to share with suppliers in the food and beverage industry. Now, a lot of times you see trend reports and they're geared more to what's going on with consumers and that type of thing. And what we like to do at SKUFood, because our interest is trying to help people get their products on the shelf and then into the shopping cart, is we want to share trends that suppliers need to be aware of in the food and beverage industry as we move into 2023. And our first trend is that we really believe that retailers are looking for suppliers who bring a calm focus to all those priorities, things like service level, things that retailers are really focused on. And we know the last few years have been a huge challenge from everybody in the whole value chain. But now I think retailers are really looking to work with suppliers who bring that calm approach to things and say, this is what we're doing. There's some challenges, but this is how we're going to overcome them. And this is how we're going to get things done and move forward. And those are the suppliers who are going to get the opportunities. And those are the suppliers that retailers are going to want to work with as we move into a new year and beyond. The next thing for me, our second trend, is we really need to focus on sales growth. It's been such an upheaval where we saw retail sales grow and food service decline, and then food service has now come back to pre-pandemic levels. So on the retail side, things are more challenging and it's hard to generate sales growth. So retailers are really going to be looking for suppliers who can bring either incremental sales to a category or growth back to a category. And even if it's 2 to 3%, that's going to be seen as a positive. And we've seen some retailers even post negative comparable sales year over year. So they're really going to be looking for those opportunities to work with suppliers who either have a promotion plan in place that's going to grow sales by even a nominal amount, or some either new entrants to the category or that kind of thing. So the retailers are definitely going to be looking for suppliers who are focused on sales growth and being able to deliver. It's one thing to focus on, it's another thing to deliver it. Our third trend is all about stability in product costs. We know food inflation has been a huge issue in the media and all over. So retailers are really looking for suppliers who are able to find those opportunities, whether it's it could be changing an input supplier, or it could be looking for efficiencies in different areas, but just to stop this this increase that we're seeing in product costs. So retailers are going to be looking for suppliers to be doing that. So hopefully suppliers are looking internally within their own business, whether it's efficiencies, whether it's changes to their process, something that will allow them to bring some stability to product costs and not continue to see these increasing product costs, which result in increased retails. So stability in product costing is definitely going to be important. Now, our fourth trend for 2023 is retailers are going to be really focused on local products that sell. And we know that consumers want to know where their food comes from. We know that there's definitely an interest in food that's produced closer to home. And retailers have reacted to that with local programs and providing space for local producers and processors. But we also need to make sure that these products are turning. So it's great to get that access to the shelf, and it's a fantastic opportunity. But we also need to prove that the items are going to sell and contribute to sales and margin within the retailer. So they're definitely going to be looking at the sales of these local products and saying, okay, which ones are working, which ones aren't working, because they need to bring the same disciplines that they have to national brand products. That means that the products that sell and really command their shelf space and deliver a return for the investment are the ones that are going to stay on the shelf. So local products, it's been a fantastic opportunity, and I think it continues to be a great opportunity, but producers and processors need to make sure they're doing the work to get the sales for these items and really earn that shelf space that they've been given. And our next trend, our fifth trend, is about sustainability. And believe it or not, it's still top of mind. It's still being driven by consumers and regulators. And for us at SKUFood, we really see sustainability, based on three different areas of sustainability. One is in packaging. The second one is in reducing food waste. And the third one is just that overall environmental footprint. And if you can bring your story to consumers and customers about 1, 2, or 3 segments of that sustainability piece, then there can be opportunities for you. And we're seeing consumers trade within categories. We're seeing products get to the shelf because of sustainable packaging, that kind of thing. So it's definitely still an important thing, and one of those trends that has continued over the last few years. Our next trend is that plant-based products, from our perspective, have got to the shelf a lot of cases because they were plant-based, not because they might have been a great eating experience or something that you really wanted to dive into from a food perspective. So we're expecting to see great tasting plant-based products be the ones that are going to command that shelf space as we move into 2023 and beyond. And we know some companies are investing more in this space. Some companies are pulling back from their investment in this space. And we know that it definitely brought quite significant year-over-year growth numbers to the industry. But a lot of the products, or I shouldn't say a lot, a number of the products maybe were not the best eating experience. And I think over time, those products are going to disappear from the shelves and be replaced by products that deliver a great eating experience. So if you're in that plant-based category or looking to get into it, then we really would like to see these products be a great eating experience and be plant-based, as opposed to plant-based as being their sort of number one attribute to sell. Our next trend is that retailers are going to be looking to try to reduce logistics costs. And we know that the cost of freight and moving goods around has increased as a percent of the total cost of goods. And in the past, sometimes it was difficult to work with retailers to get them to see perhaps fewer deliveries into a warehouse or bigger pallets or something like that. But now I think the suppliers who are going to bring those opportunities to the table and share those may get some traction with some of them. It doesn't mean you're going to get all of them listened to or accepted, but retailers are going to be looking for opportunities to reduce that cost of goods. And logistics is one big component, which has been creeping up and up and up, which perhaps there could be some ways that we can reduce that and in the end provide a better retail to the consumer. And our next trend is that we will see, with increased interest rates and tougher access to money, that the accountants within the retailers, who definitely have a loud voice, are going to have more input into some of the decisions. So I would expect to see more focus on inventory management and more focused on payment terms and some of those kind of things, where the finance department or the accountants within the retailers organization are going to say, hey, you know what, this inventory is costing us more money than it used to. We need to either turn it faster or we need to have less of it. We're paying for a product that we haven't sold and things like that. So as interest rates continue to have an impact on the economy, retailers will have more focus. So it's something that people need to watch out for and be ready for, because retailers will probably start talking about it. And our ninth trend is that communication continues to evolve. So we know we've gone through a period when all of our meetings were in person with retailers or on the phone or email. Then we moved to a lot of video conference meetings, and now some retailers are moving back to in person. Some are still remaining virtual. So our advice is to just make sure you continue to listen to your customers and understand, how do they want to communicate with you? Is it a mixture of maybe one in person and 2 or 3 virtual? But the most important thing is that you keep that communication flowing and that you continue to develop the relationships with your customers. But remember to ask them what they're looking for and figure out ways to be able to accommodate that and keep that relationship building, and which is really so important. And our last trend, and this is really important as we move into 2023, is to keep an eye on your category. We know there's going to be a lot of shifts in consumer demand as perhaps inflation starts to appear in your category, and people either trade down into lower priced items, they perhaps trade into private label, but we're going to see shifts within the category. And then the retailers are going to start to look at the categories through their category analysis process and say, whoa, why do we have that item in here? It's not selling as well as it did, or this item is really growing. We need to give it more opportunities. So we think that there's going to be a lot of different kind of things at play within categories. So perhaps if in the last years they've done the same thing and you see an opportunity and that kind of thing, it may not come to fruition this year because they're looking at different ways to try to generate sales growth. So keep an eye on your category. It could be that there could be demand for fewer SKUs in categories and some of those kind of things. So keep an eye on your category. Make sure that you're in the stores regularly to see what's going on, and keep the focus on trying to drive those sales. And those are some of the most important trends that we see going into 2023. And we all know that just because we go into a new year, not everything changes in our industry. This is a marathon that we're running. It's not a sprint, but we do like to try to share some trends and try to refocus things as we move into a new year. And a lot of these are continuations from trends that we've had in past years, like the importance of local products. But now we're shifting that from not just getting local products on the shelf, but to proving that these local products can sell. And that's how the trends evolve over time. So we wish you all the best as we move into a new year. And if you have any questions about these trends, you can always email me, Peter at SKUFood.com, and we'd be happy to expand on them for you.